Firstly, thank you guys so much for 11k subs. I was so caught up with the new map hype I didn't even notice I had hit 10k, so honestly, thank you so much guys. Today I'm back with my Kwang build and guide. Now this guy, in my opinion at least, is such a diverse hero. There are numerous ways you can build him. You might favor a more damage heavy build, a support caster build, or maybe you find his attack speed is really slow so you get more attack speed and some damage. But the way I like to build him is as a fighter with some armor and Satori Cloak, and this is what I found works for me. I also threw in some fun cards like Bloodstone Armor and Baneflesh just to keep things more interesting. The important thing to know about Kwang though is that he really is there to support in team fights. Your sword is used to lock down high priority targets and your allies will be doing most of the damage, but that doesn't mean you can't rack up some kills as well. The build looks like this. I take the Centurion as my prime card with a health potion, double strike token and healer token. You then want an Adamant edge with a minor strike, strike and major strike. My next card is Guardian's Ward with 3 minor strikes. Then we have Scourging Tails with a minor strike, strike and greater strike. Scourging Tails isn't a necessity because we have Satori Cloak, but I found the extra penetration really does help, especially in this armor heavy meta. Scourging Tails active says for 6 seconds on hit with ability, shred 80 physical armor from targets for 15 seconds. The great thing about this is his tether counts as an ability, you can ult straight onto them, and your right mouse button has an AoE ability effect, so you should be able to easily land an ability attack onto an enemy hero to shred their armor. If you don't have a Scourging Tails, a Void Steel Dagger is a perfect replacement. Tempered Plate is our next card with 3 greater guards, and our second Tempered Plate is for the early game. We throw a minor guard and 2 lesser healths into this. Tune Barrier with 2 greater health and a lesser health for the late game, and we then have our early game Tune Barrier with 2 lesser health and a minor barrier. Some of you might not have this many lesser health, so a combination of the minor barriers, minor guards and lesser health is really fine. Satori Cloak is the final card. Throw in 3 greater barriers into here. Satori Cloak's unique passive says on hit with basic attack, shred enemy physical armor and or energy armor equal to 50% of your current physical armor and or energy armor value for 4 seconds. So in this build we get around 264 energy and physical armor. But then if you count Kwang's ability, which gives him both armor types for I believe 88 resistance at max level, we then shred 176 armor with Satori Cloak. But remember, with our Scourging Tails, we now shred 256 physical armor and 176 energy armor. That means bye bye Sparrow, bye bye Steel, or any other hero that built a ton of physical resistance. The build order goes something like this. I start with a health potion and double strike token, but sometimes, particularly if I'm solo laning, I will take a health regen token. This allows me to absorb a few hits while continuing to farm. You could also take a circlet of health, but I had a Muriel running those in some of my games, and circlet stacks with a health regen and not another circlet. Once you have 6 points, you want to back for Guardian's Ward. Throw in your 3 minor strikes. This will give you all the early game damage you need to pick up some kills. You can then spend your next 9 points on Adamant Edge and maxing that out. If you don't have enough minor strikes, you could always fill them with lesser health. Now you have some choice. You can either get Scourging Tails, or if you feel like you need some damage mitigation, you can take your Tempered or Tuned with 111. Since I'm ahead, I feel will benefit from more damage. Once I max out my Scourging Tails, I'll get my Tempered and Tuned with 111. Next, you want to take the armor mitigation type you need the most. You could decide, hey, I think I would benefit from Satori Cloak right now, and by all means. I decided to take Tempered Plate and max that out, but remember that every game is different, so equip what you need. Just keep in mind that Satori Cloak needs quite a bit of armor for the passive to really have an effect. I then sell my Tempered Plate, buy my Satori Cloak, sell my Tuned Barrier and put all the points into my Satori Cloak. To end, I max out my Satori Cloak and then throw in my final Tuned Barrier, maxing that out. Now you might decide that you want more damage. The final Tuned Barrier is the perfect card to replace with more damage. Some people like to build tanky, others not so much. So if you do want more damage, the final Tuned Barrier is perfect for replacing. I'd recommend taking more damage if you solo queue with Kwang, because I duo queue with someone that usually plays a carry. I'm alright taking more tanky items, and helping him out rather than going for straight damage myself. One thing I found with Kwang, and this is more true in the new map, is that he's incredibly strong in lane, especially against rangers whom take a while to reach a threatening stage. I always take my Q ability first because the tether is just so strong. If you have a competent jungler, you'll rack up easy kills, like we do as I tether Sparrow, allowing Feng Mao to do some serious damage and eventually secure the kill. We did this again shortly after and it allowed us to secure a tower. I throw down my tether, steal ults, and Feng Mao ults, and we easily get 2 kills and a free tower. You can see just how strong Kwang's Q ability really is. And sometimes you might not even need a jungler. I'm duo laning with Muriel and that's all the damage I need. I tether Sparrow, land my Light of the Heavens, and then chase after her to claim my kill. In this game I had my healer token, stacking with Circlet of the Health, which gave me 8.1 health regen per second and meant I was almost at full health straight after the fight. If you still don't think his Q is that good, in this clip I tether Grux under the tower, forcing him to take even more tower damage with no way out. I use my ultimate to finish him off, proceed to kill Greystone and help my allies save their tier 2. Using your Q to force heroes to take even more tower damage is something you should always be looking out for. When you use your ultimate, you want to try and get as many heroes tethered to your blade as possible. This ensures that you do the most damage. Don't forget to pop your Scourging tails like I often do, because shredding armor will really help your allies, and if you have a lot of enemies tethered to your blade, you're going to be shredding all of their armor. I mentioned that Kwang was really good in lane. That's because he's really good in the early game, so you should definitely press that advantage. If you see a carry out of position, rotate on him, like we do here on Murdoch. You can also 1v1 heroes like Gideon without breaking a sweat, and with Satori Cloak you can kiss goodbye to those tanks. I find with Kwang that he is quite mana intensive, so if you are struggling with mana, definitely adapt the build to better suit you, or you can even grab the blue buff if no one on your team really needs it. After you use your tether, your Light of Heaven's AoE, and then your ultimate, you really don't have much mana left for anything else, and it's vital you get it right, because getting it wrong could prove costly. You can combo Kwang's abilities quite well with other heroes. Not only is his tether great, but his ultimate reduces enemy movement speed by 270 for 2 seconds. This allows Gideon to get some damage onto Sparrow after my ultimate already took a chunk out of her health, and we get a beautiful double kill. I have seen some people play jungle Kwang, but honestly he is a beast in lane. On the new map you really can't use heroes like Kwang, Kalari, maybe even Greystone in the jungle. It just doesn't work when there are so many better heroes at it. Kwang was a hero that was insanely difficult to deal with on the new map because the lanes on the new map are slightly different. They're more wider, on a slanted surface rather than peaking in the middle, and this benefits melee heroes more than range. And with Kwang's tether, it was the perfect way to close a gap between him and a ranged hero and secure plenty of kills. Trust me, Kwang was so good on the new map and was an instant pick in pretty much every single game we played. Just before we take a look at a tip, I wanted to show you guys this clip. The enemy team have caught our Feng Mao. I rotate over but get sucked into a black hole. Luckily, I threw my blade down and popped my ultimate just in time, securing a kill and 2 assists, and surviving on just 50 health. I was pretty proud of that moment. 2 things I want to say before I go. If you do use Thunder Cleaver, you can still deal damage without your sword. So if your sword is in another lane, you can use the active ability to help push the wave. Not sure that's very useful, but something you might not know. Also, I would include Scarab Claws if you are running into Muriels a lot. But honestly, with Satori Cloak, I think it should be enough, but if you don't have Satori Cloak, Scarab Claws is a great option if there's a Muriel on the field. I hope you guys enjoyed my build and guide. I plan on doing a few different ones for Kwang because, like I mentioned, he is such a diverse hero. These will probably be in more of a full gameplay sort of video. Let me know how you found him though, and any builds you came up with. Hit that thumbs up if you liked the video, and subscribe for more Paragon content. Until next time guys, peace.